Dear Diary, it's been another routine day here on the Mjolnir. Fires on deck C contain a deadly virus that could have potentially destroyed all life in the universe, and a portal to hell opened and I had to fight a whole bunch of demons. I hate Tuesdays.
Hey Judge, what are you doing?
Oh, hello, Mr. Code. I'm just recording my thoughts on recent events.
You're not saying anything bad about me, are you?
No, of course not. Anyway, back to my private inner thoughts. So, Mr. Code went to BronyCon, and I didn't get to go. The inconsiderate jerk. I'm so tempted to give him the gaveling of a century. He's also a big stupid head, and has an ugly green mane to boot. Plus, he's also got a big fat...
I can hear you, you bearded idiot!
No, you can't.
You were reading out loud!
No, I wasn't.
Let me see that. Here, there's my contribution to your diary.
Ooh, alright, let's see. Dear Judge, %& star pound symbol off. I don't get it.
Forget it. I have real literature to review. I'm out of here.
Judging a real book? Right.
Judge this.
Ow!
Today we take a journey into the past with Celestia and Luna in the Journal of the Two Sisters. It starts with the rather interesting event being their actual coronation as princesses. In terms of the actual timeline when the events in this book take place, it's after the creation of Equestria and the unification of the three tribes, and I would roughly say it's a few hundred years before the Nightmare Moon event. And I solely base this on the maturity of the sisters' entries in this journal, which in regular years would be late teens to early adults, with lines like referring to them as dorks or boring. Celestia acts very similar to Twilight with love of books and constantly seeking knowledge of the world, while Luna is the more carefree, adventurous pony. Speaking of the sisters' personalities, I noticed an interesting dichotomy between their personalities during this story and their current status. In the past we see Celestia is again much more reserved, yet over-anxious like Twilight, which leads her to questioning her abilities as princess, while current Celestia, while still regal, has a much more fun and jovial personality. Past Luna is much more carefree and naive, which leads her into trouble, and future Luna is more reserved but still has those intermittent moments of joy. The events of Nightmare Moon thus give Luna and more so Celestia great character development, making Luna a much more wiser sage, like in Bloom and Gloom, and Celestia more jovial, like in Make New Friends but Keep Discord. Throughout the book, we follow the sisters' misadventures, and where this book shines is in its diary format, seeing both sisters' unique reactions to major events prior to them gaining their cutie marks and getting their own personal perspectives. They can be snarky at each other from time to time, but you can still feel their deep relationship as sisters as they attempt diplomacy and build themselves as the regal duo they are today. Facing off with the Manticore was their first scenario was a simple but important event that shows off their diplomatic abilities, giving them grounds for future dealings. The Zebra story was quite fascinating as, like now in Equestria, their appearance is quite rare, living deep within the Everfree. We still saw that stigma to a degree like with Zecora in Bridal Gossip, with their tendency to stay alone. However, encounters with some of the dignitaries are a little lackluster or seem out of place. Princess Platinum, following the whole unification of the three tribes, still acts haughty, accosting the sisters for ruling without cutie marks, when her advisor, Clover the Clever, was one of the reps that elected them into princesshood. You'd figure coming together in the founding of Equestria would completely change her attitude and make her humble. Instead, basically turning her into Diamond Tiara in terms of her arrogance and just seems out of place. And the resolution from her going from hate to sorrow over her bad behavior is just, well, simply rushed. The skirmish with the Griffin Kingdom and establishing peace and removing borders was a great setup, but again, lacking payoff. Years of near-warring tensions between the tribes, the Griffins and the Pegasi more specifically, are completely nullified within days by Luna and Celestia offering a gift of the king's favorite food, pastries. The reason pastries work in the Lost Treasure Griffinstone was because they were merely a gateway to friendship, showing that Griffins were capable of socialization and not just greedy misers. Here the weight of international tensions rests on whether or not a Griffin likes Star Swirl the Bearded's cooking. The final story of the sisters receiving their cutie marks brought out some interesting aspects to the raising of the sun and moon. Apparently 10 unicorns were originally required for that magic buffer, and 6 of those were the actual focus of performing the act. Even more interesting is that a unicorn can completely lose their magic ability permanently performing the ritual for long periods of time. And thus we end the book with Luna and Celestia earning their cutie marks, raising the sun and lowering the moon. On the one hoof, this seems like a great event to stop at. However, at this point, you're obviously asking yourself, doesn't this feel a bit lacking? We don't delve into Luna's lament and slow corruption to Nightmare Moon. Are we to believe that they would just stop writing in the diary right after they got their cutie marks? Admittedly an important event, but still. The diary feels incomplete not ending on the sisters' conflict over Luna's subjects sleeping through her night sky and seeing her inner thoughts of her torment, and Celestia's responses to attempt to console her. Anyway, though not the best ending you could possibly have, this is still a good book. The dialogue and interactions between Celestia and Luna are fun and engaging, lots of world building, and an atypical story which makes this a very interesting read. While some of the stories have questionable elements and payoffs, it's a book I definitely recommend. Alright guys, that's it for today. Till next time, MC out.